So, yon. So, the reference value for platelet function test should be 70% should be retained in glass bead column. So again, glass bead retention test will determine platelet adhesion. Okay. And we go now to platelet aggregometry. Okay. So, let's review because I think I have introduced this to you during the prelims. Okay. So, normal functional platelets will adhere to subendothelial collagen. They will aggregate with one another, and in doing so, they will release and secrete the contents of their alpha and dense granules. So, in order for platelet to achieve the aggregation, of course, the requirements are normal platelet adhesion. So in this case, you'll have the so-called intact platelet membranes and von Willebrand factor. And then in normal aggregation, the requirements would be that intact platelet membranes, platelet activation pathways, normal plasma fibrinogen concentration, and normal secretion from platelet granules. Okay. So in order to in order to achieve platelet function test, we need to use a certain machine that is capable um, of detecting changes in the pathway, in the light pathway. So in this case, we are using light transmittance aggregometer. So the procedure here is that plasma, plasma-rich platelet or platelet-rich plasma plus plasticized tear bars are placed into the cuvettes. And then we place the cuvettes in incubation wells to warm at 37 degrees for 5 minutes. And then this will be transferred to a reaction well and steering device, okay, should steer the bar, ito yun, at 800 to 1000 RPM, revolution per minute. So the instrument will direct focus light through the sample cuvettes to the photo detector. Okay, so to give you an idea how this one is being done, and to introduce and to review the principle of platelet aggregometry, let's watch the animations that I have shown you during prelims.
Primary hemostasis. In this video, we will discuss platelet aggregometry. We have the following take-home points. Platelet aggregometry helps diagnose qualitative platelet disorders. Platelet aggregometry tests the platelet aggregation response to various agonists. Common agonists include ADP, arachidonic acid, and collagen. We'll begin with a brief review of the role of platelets in primary hemostasis. When the intact endothelium is injured, platelets at or near the injury encounter agonists and become activated, a conformational change that exposes the GP2B3A receptor. Thus, platelets adhere to the endothelial surface, where they encounter additional agonists that cause platelets to secrete the contents of their alpha and delta granules. These granules release adhesive proteins and agonists that stimulate platelets to stick to each other in a process called aggregation. We test this process in the lab using platelet aggregometry. Platelet aggregometry makes use of a light source, which emits a light that is measured by a detector. Between the light and the detector is placed a clear container filled with a suspension of platelet-rich plasma. Light does not pass through to the detector until an agonist is added, beginning the process of platelet aggregation. The resulting light transmission is detected and recorded as a function of time. The data is shown as a graph with percent aggregation on the y-axis and time in seconds on the x-axis. The platelet aggregation response to ADP shows an initial wave of primary aggregation demonstrated by the initial downward inflection, then follows a secondary wave of aggregation, which requires release of platelet intracellular granules. No response to ADP may indicate a defect or absence of the ADP receptor or use of a P2Y12 receptor blocker like clopidogrel. ADP response may also be blocked with high concentrations of aspirin. If there is no secondary wave, it suggests a storage pool defect in which no granules exist, or a secretion defect in which the granules exist but are unable to be secreted. Another agonist is arachidonic acid, the substrate for the cyclooxygenase or COX pathway. Inhibiting the COX pathway prevents production of thromboxane A2, thus inhibiting platelet aggregation. If there is no aggregation response to arachidonic acid, it may mean there is an aspirin-like defect, a congenital defect in the COX pathway, or non-response to thromboxane A2. Testing aggregation response to thromboxane A2 can help distinguish the cause. Another agonist is collagen. Collagen induces platelets to release their granular contents, thereby promoting aggregation. If there is no aggregation response to collagen, it may suggest a missing collagen receptor inhibition, or a storage pool defect if there is also a defect in the secondary response to ADP. For a positive control, we use ristocetin. It is not an agonist promoting aggregation. Ristocetin is necessary for von Willebrand factor-mediated platelet agglutination. If there is no agglutination response to ristocetin, it implies either decreased plasma von Willebrand factor or Bernard-Soulier syndrome, which is due to a defect in the platelet receptor for von Willebrand factor, GP1b95. If there is agglutination response to ristocetin only, with no aggregation response to other agonists, it indicates a defect in the GP2b3A platelet receptor, as can occur in the congenital disorder Glanzmann's thrombasthenia. In summary, platelet aggregometry helps diagnose qualitative platelet disorders. Platelet aggregometry tests the platelet aggregation response to various agonists. Common agonists include ADP, arachidonic acid, and collagen. This ends our video on tests of primary hemostasis.
I hope you are able to see um, the clinical significance if there's no response to certain agonists. Okay, so first we have to generate a baseline. Bakit kailangan natin ng baseline? So that we can see there's a primary wave and secondary wave. So after the agonist is added, this should trigger aggregation. So how would you know if there's aggregation? There would be changes in the shape of platelet from being discoid. So the platelet will now have pseudopod extension, as you can see in figure B. So the intensity of light transmittance initially decrease and increases in proportion to the degree of the shape change. Yung initial decrease is called the primary wave, and then the succeeding increase is now the secondary wave. So the percent light transmittance is monitored continuously and recorded. So as platelet aggregate form, more light passes through the PRP and the tracing begins to move 100% light transmittance. So the normal range is 40% aggregation. So that's lower limit. And you would know that there's a platelet functional deficiencies if there's no response or absence of aggregation. So in your book, in the animation a while ago, it was mentioned, okay, that the most common agonists are excuse me, the most common agonists are the collagen, arachidonic acid, ADP. Okay, so we also have the the trap agonist. Sorry lang, excuse me lang. Okay, so we have So ito yung common, no? Yung ADP, even epinephrine, collagen, arachidonic acid, and ristositin is used as a control. Okay, ADP is used, but sometimes other would actually use the thrombin receptor activator peptide. Okay. So this is to analyze, okay, PAR1, PAR4, glycoprotein 1B, alpha, and glycoprotein 5. Okay. So again, these are the steps in platelet aggregometry. Mas madaling tandaan yung step na to. Baseline is actually at 0% aggregation. So tandaan, if it's a baseline, it is at 0% aggregation. Okay, so we add agonist. So pag nag-add ng agonist, shape change. So from being discoid, dito discoid pa lang siya at baseline, magkakaroon ng pseudopod formation. And then there would be a primary aggregation. Okay? Primary aggregation. And then sa primary aggregation, of course, this would be characterized by the first wave and then secretion. So pag sinabi nating secretion, so tandaan lang natin dito is that there would be release of ADP and ATP from platelet granules. So eventually, there would be a second wave aggregation. So yung second wave natin is actually characterized by a secondary aggregation. Okay? So the percentage of aggregation is measured by intensity of light transmittance. Okay, so ito yung mga possible na graph na makikita ninyo, 'di ba? In this case, yung ADP, so nakita niyo yung first wave and then nakita niyo yung secondary wave. So ADP, epinephrine, thrombin, ristositin, collagen, and arachidonic acid. Okay? So as you can see, um, in doing aggregometry, kanina yung in-explain natin was the platelet-rich plasma. But do you know that there's also what you call a whole blood platelet aggregometry? So here in a whole blood aggregometry, this is actually measured by electrical impedance. So the specimen are diluted 1:1 with normal saline. So you are using whole blood. So kanina sa PRP, we're just using platelet-rich plasma, but now we are using the whole blood. Whole blood plus saline to cuvette. So we drop in stir bar per cuvette and incubate it at 37 degrees for 5 minutes. So we wait for reaction well and add agonist. And then after adding agonist, we suspend a pair of low voltage cartridge mounted disposable direct current electrodes in the mixture. So we wait for aggregation to occur, and as they occur, platelet now will adhere to the electrodes one after the another. So since electrode siya, this will impede or stop the current. So a rise in impedance means that there is a there is an pag nag-rise yung impedance, ang ibig sabihin niyan, platelets have aggregated. Okay? So, so yung aggregating platelets will actually adhere dito sa electrodes. So as the platelet layer grows with aggregated platelets, the electrical current is impeded. So pag sinabi nating impedance, this one is expressed in ohms. Okay? And this is directly proportional to aggregation. Okay? And a tracing is provided that resembles the tracing obtained using an optical aggregometry. Okay, so wait lang. Hindi ko na makita yung na anyway, let me just continue the lesson. Patapos na naman tayo. That we will be discussing for tonight is the platelet factor for availability. So this is based on the principle that um, blood, whole blood that is present in anticoagulant such as 3.2% sodium citrate, okay, in addition with kaolin. So ano ba yung role ng kaolin? Kaolin here is activation factor plus epinephrine. Ano ba yung role ng epinephrine? Epinephrine will serve as an agonist. Okay, so blood plus kaolin and epinephrine are stimulated to provide the platelet factor 3 activity. So platelet facilitates the ability of plasma to clot by providing surface by which certain clotting factors bind, thus enhancing the reaction. So what will be relevant here is that the clotting time, okay, is up in platelet-rich plasma becomes shorter than platelet-poor plasma. So the reference interval is between 37 to 51 seconds if we are using platelet-rich plasma. So the clinical application is that a decrease in acquired or congenital defects of platelet secretion or release of deficiency in factor 5 and factor 10 will cause the reference interval to be prolonged. So kapag may mga ganitong conditions yung patient, so the clotting time is actually beyond 51 seconds. Okay, if you are using the platelet-rich plasma. And the last one is the von Willebrand assay. So von Willebrand assay is based on agglutination of fixed platelets in response to ristocetin, and it depends on the presence of von Willebrand factor in plasma. So again, let us review ano ba yung function ng von Willebrand. Diba? Von Willebrand is like a cement where platelet will adhere and platelets will adhere in von Willebrand factor, while von Willebrand factor will adhere in the endothelium. So agglutination of fixed platelets in response to ristocetin depends on the presence of von Willebrand factor in plasma. So nakita niyo naman kanina sa aggregometry, kapag hindi nag-agglutinate yung presence, pag hindi nag-agglutinate in the presence of ristocetin kanina sa aggregometry, ibig sabihin, merong deficiency sa von Willebrand factor yung patient. So the rate of agglutination or the percentage of the agglutination is directly proportional to the amount of von Willebrand factor. Okay, so remember, the reference interval is between 45 to 140%. So kapag hindi umabot yung agglutination ng patient ng ng 45%, it means that the patient lacks von Willebrand factor or may possibly have von Willebrand disease. Though normal result may also be seen in Bernard-Sollier syndrome. So if there's no platelet aggregation with restositine, as shown in the aggregometry, so the possible diseases are von Willebrand disease and Bernard-Sollier syndrome. Okay, well, hindi tayo umabot ng 8 p.m. So, I think that would be the end of our lecture for tonight. And this would be the coverage of your quiz next meeting. Okay, so yung coverage ng quiz na ninyo next meeting is yung diniscuss ko, tsaka yung i-discuss ni Ma'am Christy.